Hey guys, it's Lauren. Today we're actually going to answer all of your guys' questions. So questions that I get in my DMs, my comments, just frequently asked questions, random questions. We're going to be answering all those today in this video, and we're going to start right now. So the first question is from Brianna, and she says, I'm reaching out because I'm interested in going to cosmetology school, and I worry about starting it when the economy is going the way that it is. I was just curious on your thoughts and if you think it's a good idea to start something like this. This is such a great question, Brianna. It just shows that you actually think about the future. You try to make wise decisions based on what's happening in the world. And that's really great. And you know, I have to agree with you. It's pretty scary what's going on with the world and the economy right now. You never know what is going to happen. Like, you know, with the whole COVID thing and all of a sudden you weren't able to work anymore. Tons of people lost their jobs. Tons of businesses had to close down. You never know, things could always happen like that. And maybe I'm just optimistic, but my general attitude about anything that you really want to do is just do it anyway and hope for the best. Because honestly, like there's a lot of things that we think we control right now that seem steady and seem like, oh, this isn't going to change, everything's going to go fine. But things can change in an instant, you know? So I think that yes, it's wise to kind of look at the future and see what's going on and just kind of be aware of it. But I also think that you should continue to pursue everything that you want to pursue, especially something like this. So I will say that one of the industries that was the most successful during like the Great Depression was the hair industry. Women would sacrifice like groceries, stuff like that, like essential items in order to get their hair done. So I think that is telling of, you know, the nature of women in general and just human nature in general. We just really like to, first of all, find comfort in getting our hair done, and then also just to look great, you know? So I think that is just gonna be kind of common throughout history. I don't think that, because I think that, you know, anytime there's like an economic hardship, women are still going to seek beauty. It's just a part of us. It's just what we want. So yeah, I would absolutely go to hair school or cosmetology school. I would absolutely go, and I would absolutely pursue a career in hair. I don't think that it's a particularly bad idea to get into. You know, there's certain fields that I probably wouldn't get into, but I think that hair is probably going to be one of the better ones, honestly. So hopefully that's encouraging. And then I have a few tips for you too. The first one would be, if you're going to go to cosmetology school, which I hope you will, because I have to say it was one of the best times of my life. But I would try to choose a school that's not super expensive. I did go to an expensive school. I went to Paul Mitchell, and it was a great school. I have nothing bad to say about it at all. But I think it's just a really good idea to try to save as much money as you can, because right when you get out of school, you're not going to make a ton of money. And if you just kind of accept that now, you'll feel better about spending a little bit less money on school. And that brings me to the second point. You want to try to have a savings. So I would say, if you're trying to go to school, I would try to build up a good savings, be able to pay for school out of pocket. I think that's going to put you in a really good financial spot. And it also makes it so that you really appreciate what you're putting your money toward. For example, there's probably about 80% of people who go through hair school end up not even doing hair at all, or quitting within like 3 years. But if you are paying for it out of pocket, you're not getting loans, you're working for every single dollar that you spend on school, you're going to be very wise about which school that you go to, about picking the school that you go to. And you're going to really appreciate once you have that license. You're going to want to do a lot with it because you invested your money into it. The money's already gone. And I didn't do that. But I'm just saying, like, if I were to do it over, I would probably spend less money on school, even though it's not going to give me the same experience that I had at that really nice school, that Paul Mitchell school. And also, I don't know if you know this, but you can actually, in a lot of states, get an apprenticeship with a salon and earn your cosmetology license that way and test out. I'm not exactly sure what the specifics of that are. I just imagine that it varies from state to state, but that is an option. So that is just like a win-win for me, because you're actually getting a feel for what it's like to actually be in a salon. That way you don't go to school and realize you don't like it later. And also, it's probably not going to be super expensive. I mean, the salon might charge you to do an apprenticeship or something like that, but I just think it's so cool that you can actually get hours and stuff toward your cosmetology license by doing that. So those are the few tips I have for you there. and then also some encouragement. Recently, I came across a Refinery 29 article, and it was talking about what stylists were doing during the COVID shutdowns. And there was this one stylist, her name, I believe her name was like Carrie Hill or something like that, and what she was doing was finding a way to serve her clients despite what was going on. And I really loved what she did because her focus was on serving her clients and not necessarily this like just focusing solely on herself and I'm not gonna make it if I don't, make money right now. She kind of focused on what everybody was going through and thought of a way that she could serve her clients better with regard to what was going on in that moment. So what she did is she put together gray coverage kits for her clients, for her long-time clients, where she used similar formulas every single time. She put together kits for them with like the measured amount of developer, measured amount of color, so that they could actually do their hair at home. And I know that there's a lot of you that are gonna object to this saying, you should never let clients do hair at home, but let's be real, they're absolutely doing their hair at home. And I think it'd be better with the guidance of a professional. And if you do something like this for your loyal clients, they're gonna wanna stay with you. They're not gonna wanna just do that all the time. That's been my experience. Is like when you give and you're not just thinking about yourself and how, oh, if they do it at home, then they're never gonna wanna come back. If you're not thinking that way, but you're more thinking about how you can best serve them, they stay loyal to you a lot more. So I love that she was just thinking about serving her clients during the COVID lockdown so that they could get their hair done even though they couldn't come in. And the message that I would love for you to take away from that is that there's always so much innovation within the hair industry. It's not always that you work inside of a salon and just take clients. There's so many different things that you can do. And hairstylists are very innovative. You're a creative person if you want to be a hairstylist, and you're always going to find a way to serve people. And just remember that that is the bottom line. Ultimately, is to serve people. If you could just focus on serving people, then the money will follow, even in a bad economy. So I hope that's encouraging to you. Okay, so the next question is from Yari. I hope that I'm pronouncing that right. Yari? I'm gonna say Yari. Hey Lauren, just saw a video on YouTube about not pre-booking, very helpful, but I would really like to hear your thoughts on my schedule being booked out 4 months out and having problems fitting everyone in. Would the method you use to let them schedule help that problem? Also, I don't have time for new clients. I would really love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much, Yari. Oh wow, this is such an interesting question. So she's basically asking, so I made this video about pre-booking and why I don't really pre-book clients. I know that's like a really common practice, but that was just something that I stopped doing, and I have a whole video explaining why I did it, and you can check that out up here, or up here. But she's wondering if she changes her booking situation, if that's going to help her because she is so booked out. Will it kind of help her weed out clients? It seems like is what she's asking. Will it kind of help you weed out clients if you book that way? I would say if you are super, super busy, your problem is not the way that you're booking clients. Your problem is that your prices are too low. So Yari, if I were you, what I would really focus on is trying to raise your prices. That's such a scary thing to do, and I totally understand that. But you might need to weed out some clients so that you can make room for new ones. Because even if you love your clients and you don't want to lose a single one, if new clients can't come in with you, your business is going to slowly die. Because even if your clients are amazing, there's going to be life situations that take them away from you. Every single person on earth is going to have a big life-changing event, probably every 6 months to a year. So it's so important to always be able to have time available, good time available too, for new clients. And the only way that you can do that is honestly to raise your prices. So I would suggest a pretty drastic price change if you're booked out that much. I have some awesome pricing videos that you can check out. I kind of do an in-depth dive into pricing, and there's multiple videos that I've done on that. So I'll link those below. And then also I have my pricing guide that you can check out if you want to. And that's basically like where you can plug in all your numbers and kind of figure out what the best prices for your services could be too. So you can check all of those out. I'll put those in the description below. So thank you so much for your question. And the next one is Christine. Hey there, I'm a new stylist and trying to make a pricing list. I wanted to know your opinion. For instance, if someone is coming in for a partial, let's say they wanted a haircut and your haircut is $75. Do you add that price to your service, or do you usually knock down the pricing for a haircut because they're already getting another service done? My other question is what do you charge if someone literally just wants a trim if they are getting a partial or a full or any other kind of service, and you just do a dry cut and simple dusting, just strictly ends, do you charge them for a full haircut? So my first principle in response to this would be, the value of a haircut is not how much hair you take off, it's the value that it brings the person. And just to illustrate this, if the value of a haircut was based on how much hair that I cut off, then you would have to charge someone extra for making them bald because you took off that much more hair. You know what I mean? So the value of the haircut is more about the end result. It's more about nailing the end result that they wanted exactly. That's what makes the haircut worth the price. So it's not how much hair you take off. When it comes to something like you're doing, you know, a full foil and you just want to kind of quickly dust the ends and stuff like that, what I typically do is actually charge hourly for services like that, but I make sure that it includes all of the products and stuff. So my price for, you know, a balayage would include a haircut, and I kind of charge by the hour so that I'm making sure I'm making money for the time that I'm spending and then also for all of the product that I'm using. And again, I have a balayage pricing video that you're gonna wanna check out for that, and that'll just kind of break that down into really good detail for you. But for a condensed answer, I would say that you would kind of wanna make the whole price all inclusive. To me, that works best. There's no surprises for the client. They already know what they're going to be paying, and you're just kind of free to do what you need to do to make the balayage look good. And if that includes a haircut, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So that's kind of the way I like to charge, and more details on that in that balayage pricing video. Thank you for your question, Christine. Okay, the next question is from Amber, and she says, I watched one of your videos on YouTube about changing a level 3 to a level 6. I was wondering if it's possible to go from a level 5 to a level 8. My client is highly sensitive to bleach, and at this point we've had a couple issues of her scalp swelling up. I'm trying to lift her base so it's possible to deposit Pulp Riot fashion color onto it. I would love to get to around a level 8. Thank you so much, Lauren, for your time. Hope it's okay that I asked this. Of course it's okay, Amber. Thank you so much for your question. And so you were trying to, so I did a video recently. It's showing you how to lift dark hair with color and no bleach. So I made a video on that. I'll link that in the description below if you guys want to check it out. She's asking if you could do the same thing if you're trying to do a fashion color. I would not recommend doing something like that, because with a fashion color, and you didn't tell me exactly what fashion color you're going to do, but especially if it's a lighter fashion color, you have to get the hair way lighter than a level 8 for it to show up. If you're doing like a red or like a deep purple or something like that, a level 8 will be okay, but it's really best to get it past that level 8. And there's just really no guarantee that you'll get all that pigment out when you're just using a color. So what I would do in your situation, because your client is sensitive to bleach, is just do off scalp bleach by doing mostly maybe like balayage and just making it more diffused up here, so she's never actually getting bleach on her scalp. But I think that it's gonna work out best for you if you actually use lightener. I wouldn't recommend using color for something like that. So thank you for that question, Amber, and if you guys are interested in watching that video of how to lift dark hair without bleach, again, that video will be linked in the description below. Okay, next question is from Tuere, I believe, T-U-E-R-E. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. She says, would you recommend getting a suite if you want to move your home salon suite or go back to working for someone else, like commission? Okay, so it sounds like you're moving, so you're not gonna have your home salon anymore. So would it be better to go into a studio suite, like a solo salon or something like that, or to work somebody else in a commission-based thing? Well, I would just say it depends on what your goals are. For me, I would always choose probably to do independent, like to rent a suite or something, or just build another one in my home if that's kind of my forever home. But I would probably choose that, but it just depends on what your goals are. And if your goal is to be independent, then I would recommend that you do as much saving as you can first. If you have a savings to hold yourself over while you're trying to build in a new place again, then I would just go ahead and rent a suite and spend that money a little bit as you're kind of building your clientele. So spend the money on the suite as you're building the clientele. And then of course, once you build your clientele, you will pay back your savings and the money that you used on the suite. So that's kind of the way I would approach it. And I have a video on how to market when you're like moving cities and stuff like that. So if you're trying to build in a new location, that's going to be a good video for you to check out too. So I'll link that for you below. And also, the reason that I just don't really like to go to a commission salon, if my end goal is to ultimately be independent, is because I kind of just feel bad for the employer. Like I'm taking advantage of their resources and stuff, and knowing that I'm not going to stay there. I just kind of feel bad doing that. But you never know, your mind could change and you could think, I love this environment and I want to stay here in this commission salon. So if it's a possibility for you that you might stay there, then why not, save up some money there for sure. And if you feel like there's a good opportunity to go out on your own, or maybe you just still want to stay there, you just kind of have some options. So either one is great. Personally, I would probably just, go independent, make sure I have a savings to help hold me over while I am building a clientele. So the next question is just a frequently asked question that I see in my comments, DMs, all over the place, and that's what kind of booking system do you use? And I'm not taking clients anymore, but when I was using Acuity. I found it's not specifically made for hairstylists or the beauty industry or anything like that, but I found it just the most affordable and the most capable of doing very specific actions that really just made my business run so smoothly. One of those things was being able to do forms for clients and like save them in their own little files. That was so cool. So I could actually ask questions as they were booking their appointment. That way I could get to know just a few things about them before they came in, or if they had anything that they wanted to tell me before they came in. So it's really cool to be able to have them fill out a form as they're booking their appointment. So that was one cool feature. And then the other one that was so important to me was being able to accept a deposit while they book their appointment. You could actually require a deposit and have them pay the deposit in order to book the appointment. Now for some of you, that might be a huge turnoff. You don't have to use that feature, but if you are doing like a really high-end service and somebody books out 5 hours of your day for a color correction, you have the ability to actually charge a deposit, whether you want to make it refundable or non-refundable, for them to just be able to do that. That way you don't have people. I remember in the beginning when I first went on my own, I had people booking appointments with me and just never showing up. I think because they've never met me and they were just doing it online, they felt totally okay canceling all the time. And so many first-time appointments would just never even show up. And so that's why I thought it was so cool that Acuity could do that. And it was super affordable too. I don't know exactly how much it is right now, but I know that the features are only getting better on that. The way that they book out time, or that you can like customize how people are able to book out time, is so helpful on there too. You can put padding in between your appointments so you have time to clean. You can have it block out certain days so that, days that you want to get filled first, get filled before they show you other appointments. There's just so many like really detailed customizable features of Acuity that I really enjoyed. So to answer your question, I use Acuity. So the next question is just a random personal question, and that is, where do you get your eyewear? It is so funny because this is probably one of my most asked questions of all time, and it has nothing to do with hair or business. So I actually just get my glasses from Warby Parker. They're super affordable. I'm kind of the cheapest person ever. So they're super affordable. And yeah, and I just go to Warby Parker, but they're always changing styles. So I don't know if they still have this exact style, but I've updated my frames twice, and they were just both kind of similar. So they always have something similar to this. But even with the newer ones and the older ones, both get the same amount of compliments. So Warby Parker, check it out. It's so affordable. It just amazes me. But thank you guys for all the compliments on my glasses, and I hope you guys get yourself some frames that you really like too. So the next question is one that I get asked in almost every single video that I post, and you guys are so sweet. You're always complimenting my hair color and what color and tones do I use in my hair. It's just kind of funny because I haven't colored my hair in probably a year and a half. But I've been growing out my grays a lot, so I don't know if you could tell, but I've been growing out my grays for about a year and a half, so they're probably down to here now. So this is pretty much my natural color. In my ends, there might be some leftover color, but I've only ever really used demi permanent. So when I was coloring my hair and coloring my grades and like toning everything, I was doing Kenra 5N, and then I would use Shades EQ 6N. It was so simple on everything else. But I also just want to point out too that lighting does wonders for color. So it might not necessarily be the color that you love, but my hair might look extra shiny and glossy in my videos just because I have really great lighting. But I really appreciate all the compliments. The next question is from my YouTube comments, and somebody asked, I forget what the handle is, they don't really show the names of the handles, but they asked something to the effect of, would it be okay to open a salon if you have management experience but you don't have any salon experience or experience being a hairstylist or doing any kind of beauty service? So my answer to that would be, you can absolutely start any business that you want to, of course. Like, there's nothing like legally stopping you. There's nothing like, you don't have to do that. I would suggest at least having salon experience. Like, maybe you've managed a salon before. Maybe you have been a receptionist at a hair salon. You can learn a lot by just being a receptionist at a hair salon. The most important thing is to really know the audience of your business, and I think that you can learn a lot just by being a receptionist or a manager at a hair salon. And also, I think one of the benefits of being a person who's not a hairstylist working at or starting a hair salon is you're not really in competition with the other stylists. That can be a real problem with stylists and owners, that they feel, the owners can kind of get insecure about the stylists having more success than them, stuff like that. There could be kind of some animosity sometimes. So, I mean, that would be one benefit, is that you're not really in competition with your hairstylist, and you could just focus on building them up as much as you can, because that makes them more money and that makes you more money, and it makes just a better environment for everybody, and it helps you serve the community better. So absolutely, you can own a salon without having first been a hairstylist, but I would definitely say you want to have experience, of course, owning a business or running a business somehow, whether it's management experience or some other kind of experience that would be beneficial. I wouldn't just jump into it not having known or experienced anything that goes on in salons. I don't think that would be wise at all. I think you should absolutely, you know, have a few years at least of experience just knowing the audience and knowing just the behaviors of clients, knowing what makes them happy, what makes them really unhappy. But it's not necessarily about knowing how to do the actual services. You could always hire people to train your stylist if you're doing a commission salon, and your main role could be, you know, motivator and things like that, or just providing opportunities for your hairstylist. It doesn't necessarily have to be that you know how to do everything that they're doing. So hopefully that's encouraging to you, and that kind of helps you set you off in the direction that you want to go. Thanks for the question. Okay, so the last question, and this is one that I get in a lot of my comments on my YouTube videos, is do you have to be fully booked before you move into a studio salon? And this is super controversial, because like for a company like Sola Salons, they're always asking like, so do you have a big clientele? Like when you're kind of prospecting and trying to figure out if you want to have a salon suite there, they ask you like, do you have a full clientele? Because you can't make it here without a full clientele. And that's true, but I disagree that you actually have to bring one with you, because I've done it a few different times. You don't actually have to bring a clientele with you, but you have to be ready for hardship. You have to be ready to endure a few months of being very slow. And if you're productive with that time, you could absolutely make it work. I'm a testament to that. I know a few other people who have done that as well. It's very difficult, and it's hard to stay motivated, and it's hard to stay encouraged. Let me just tell you that right off the bat, but it's absolutely possible. And what makes it possible is, number one, having a savings. I've mentioned that before, but save up so that you have like a few months of expenses covered before you start, so that you're not just so nervous and stressed out because you don't have clients right away. Accept that you're not gonna have clients right away, have a savings, you're prepared for it, and spend that time really marketing and creating content so that you can build your clientele quickly and your reputation quickly in that area. I have another video that goes into depth on this topic, and I will link that in the description below as well. You guys, thanks so much for watching this video, and please let me know if you like the Q&A format. If so, just keep sending me a bunch of questions, and I'll just kind of compile them into videos and answer all your questions. It's hard for me to answer every single DM and comment right now, just because Well, it's for the same reason that I haven't posted a video in a long time. I'm a mom of 3 now. I have a 11-month-old now. I can't believe he's 11 months old. A 4-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. They're all about like 20 months, 19, 20 months apart. So they require so much of my time, and it's an absolute blessing. I wouldn't be doing anything else, but I'm just not able to film videos as often as I used to. But my plan is to just make really solid, maybe longer videos that are really educational, really informative, and maybe just a lot less often. But I'm just so grateful that I have such a great audience who's so supportive of me and encouraging, and just the fact that you guys really appreciate and value my advice, that's such a blessing and an honor. So thank you so much. So I'm gonna keep doing these videos for you. Just keep asking your questions and I'll do some Q&A videos like this. And then also I hope to do some more like tutorial videos, hair tutorial videos, because it's so much fun. And I also have my courses that I would love for you guys to check out. I have a free class that's really awesome, just kind of step-by-step through how, like, my personal balayage technique. And then I have some paid courses for marketing, for balayage, for things like that. You could check that all out in the description if you would like. One last thing I wanted to mention to you guys before I go is my sister, Leanne, has a awesome women's clothing boutique. It's doing so well. She's had it for over 1.5 years now. I'm so proud of her. And everything that I'm wearing, of course, is from her boutique. And partly because I'm very loyal, and partly because I just don't really want to wear anything else. I love everything that she has there. We're going into winter right now, and she just released this amazing kind of holiday glitz and glam collection. I think it's called the Bubbly. It's pretty cool. You guys should check it out. It's absolutely gorgeous. So proud of her. And you guys can get an exclusive 15% discount off anything in the store if you use my code, which I'll link in the description. Thanks again so much for watching this video, you guys. Remember, everything that I mentioned is going to be listed in the description of this video. My name is Lauren, and I will see you guys soon.